Hey everybody, welcome back to the wood shop.
After a long day at work, I would like nothing more than to come home and prop up my feet.
Our living room has a couch and two wing chairs, but none of them recline. And today we're going to try to remedy that situation with some 2-inch and 1-inch thick cherry. We've got some upholstery stuff, some foam rubber, and we're going to try to make an ottoman.
The first step is to plane down this wood. Let's get to it.
Alright, now we've got to rip these boards on the table saw. First thing we have to do though is to edge join them with the level and make sure they are good and straight. This one will become 2 3.5-inch wide pieces. Those will be used for the apron. And this one will become 4 1.5 by 1.5 pieces. And those are going to be the legs. All this stuff will be cut to length in just a minute over on the miter saw. Alright, now for the top of the ottoman where the upholstery is going to be, we're going to be using this sheet of 3/4-inch plywood. Now the dimensions for this top is going to be 18 by 22.
Alright, now that all of our pieces have been cut on the table saw, we moved over here to the miter saw to cut the lengths for each piece. Our legs we're going to cut to 14.5 inches. And the pieces for the apron from that 1-inch board, those are going to be 2 13-inch pieces and 2 17-inch pieces.
Alright, as you can see, we're going to use pocket hole construction to put this together. We're going to drill 2 pocket holes in each apron piece. After that, we'll move on to sanding.
Alright, it's time for sanding, and this hardwood, it can get burn marks really easily, as you can see here. And this is going to be a little tougher to sand out. Now, on these pieces of apron on the faces, these are already pretty smooth because we ran this through the planer. So I think on these, I'm just going to touch these up with some 220, make them nice and smooth. But anywhere we have these burn marks, I'm going to go in with some 80 grit, get those burn marks out, and then follow up with some 120 and then 220. right, now that all the pieces are sanded nice and smooth, it's time to assemble the base of our ottoman.
We're going to be doing that with some trusty wood glue and pocket hole screws. Now these pocket hole screws are made especially for hardwood, so make sure when you put together hardwood with pocket hole screws that you get the fine thread. Oops, we got in such a hurry to put this together, we actually forgot we need pocket holes under here to screw this frame to the top. So now we're going to have to drill these pocket holes with the thing already put together. Now before we start doing the upholstery for the top, we are going to go ahead and stain this base.
That's right. We are using Watco Danish oil. This is in dark walnut. We want this to match the furniture that we already have in our living room, and it is a cherry that's stained more like a dark walnut. So we're going to try this. It may take us a couple of coats, but we're going to put one on and let it sit before we move on to the rest of the ottoman. Okay, after that first coat, we came back in and done a second coat. Now you can see with this coat, we actually mixed in just a tad of the true black color just to darken it up a little bit, and we're pretty satisfied with the way it looks now. We was going to do a top coat of just polyurethane, but you know, the Danish oil has polyurethane in it. I think it looks good just the way it is. Now we are going to move on to what goes on top of this. All right, so we are moving on to work on the cushion for our ottoman. We cut this plywood for our ottoman here, so that's already cut out. We have got some adhesive. This is to attach the cushion to the board. We've got this 2-inch foam cushion. We picked this up at the Hobby Lobby, and you can probably order that online or wherever. We've got a utility knife. We'll use that to cut our cushion. Some scissors. These will come in handy for our fabric and our batting. So we'll go ahead and get the cushion cut out and attached to the board. All right, as you can see, we've trimmed the excess fabric and batting, and we had plenty of fabric left over. So what we're going to do is spray some adhesive on the bottom of the board, and we've cut out a piece to lay here. So that'll just kind of disguise the board if anybody were to look underneath the ottoman or turn it over or something like that. We've kind of played with it, and we think it'll look nice. Just to give you a little history behind this fabric, I was actually thrifting with my mom several months ago, and we were in a thrift store and they had some draperies hanging up, and I was like, I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, do you think that would be good to upholster something with? And she's like, sure. And so I grabbed it. I think it was like $2, and we came up with the idea for this ottoman. So whenever I prop my feet up, I'll think about my mama and going thrifting. All right, so this is going to be a no-sew ottoman. We are not professional upholsterers. I'm not a seamstress, but I do a really good job wrapping presents, and that's what we're going to try to do with this cushion. I'm just going to kind of fold the fabric and the batting in just like that. We're going to fold this down, and we're going to attempt to staple into the side of the plywood here. Once we put in that staple here, we will cut off all of this excess fabric and then fold this up just like so and begin to staple along the bottom again. So we're hopeful that that will work out. We're getting ready to find out. Alright, we're going to put a little hot glue on this little tag underneath and just kind of pin it down. That way it doesn't get loose later. All right, we have our cushion upholstered. This was the first time we ever upholstered anything, so it's not perfect, but I think we did a pretty good job, and I'm satisfied with the result. Yeah. Now it's time to attach the base to the cushion.
We'll do that with 1¼ pocket hole screws. Well, our first ever Ottoman is now complete. It's a basic Ottoman, nothing real fancy about it. And this is actually the first time we've ever tried anything upholstered.
That's right. I'm satisfied with the way it turned out. I'm looking forward to propping my feet up on this Ottoman today. So it's going to get put to work real quick. Like he said, it's nothing fancy, but with our skills and the time that we put into it, this was a really easy build. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. We could definitely hone our skills and try something fancier next time, and we might just do that. If you want to see what happens, maybe we'll do it in the future. Subscribe to our channel. The button's right down there. And if you like this video, give us a big thumbs up. Thanks again for joining us today. Happy woodworking!